So really quick, I know I always say that. This is the new monster rotor housing. It's 100 millimeters tall and I believe 80 millimeters in diameter. And it houses six 100 millimeter magnets. And I've got this set up like this is because I made these end caps. Where are they? I made these end caps to cover the exposed magnet because they're not super loose in there. They're not really loose at all, but I just want to make sure that at high speed they don't come sliding out somehow. I don't know. But I made a solid cap for one end and a windowed cap for the other end so you can actually see the magnets. But yeah, they're 4 inch by ½ inch by ½ inch. So they're big ones. And I'm fortifying, that's the right word, this setup so that I can run the system again and it doesn't vibrate. I did take a quick test on this crappy meter I had, and just spinning it by hand with this bifilar coil shorted out so that it acts as one continuous coil. I got about 8 volts out of it. That's AC. So I'll hook up a rectifier and see what kind of DC I can get out. Then I also wanted to show you guys this. This is my new coil housing for the bigger coil I want to make, which will be a tri-filar. At the very minimum, it'll be a bifilar coil. But that is nice. And this thing printed out in 2 pieces instead of trying to print this out in 1, which I could, but it would be a real pain. Print it out in 2 pieces and then glued the hemisphere together. Then I have another one here that's kind of rounded. I don't even know if I'm going to use that one. But then we've got this guy who sits in here like this. And that's the one I showed you the other day. So yeah, as soon as this guy is settled up and I've got it mounted on an 8 millimeter shaft, and again I'm gonna see if I can hook this guy up. It'll be a monster rotor. But the reason why I took it out of the casting that I had was that casting was way too heavy. Now with the 6 magnets, it's still kind of heavy, but nowhere near as heavy as the casting. This is plastic and it's not solid. So, in 3D printing, if you don't know, you use something called an infill. And I tried to keep my infills really light. So you can have up to 100% infill, which would make it a solid piece of plastic, but then that would take days to print. And so I believe on this one, there's only like 5% infill, which still took 6 hours to print. But that 6 hours is maybe 20 minutes is that me designing it. The rest of it is just sits there and prints. I don't have to do anything, which is great. So again, I'm fortifying this guy. Still have this guy I want to play with. And I definitely want to start winding these guys. I'm trying to figure out the type of wire I want to use. I know I want to have a thin wire, a medium, and a large. So, or I'll just have 2 sizes, one thinner obviously, and one thicker. But I haven't figured it out yet. If you guys have any suggestions on wire size for a tri-filar or at the very minimum a bifilar coil. I also made a bunch more of these. I don't know if I could find, oh yeah, these little end cap pieces here, which are great because they fit into the bearing on one end and into the shaft on the other end. like that. So this is a 6mm shaft. All my bearings obviously are 8mm ID. So that is that. And then the first coil that I did was this one, or the first coil that I 3D printed the housing for was this one. And this is very thin wire, which I did for that, those weird hall sensors that have the 4 leads where you don't need a transistor. Maybe I'll hook that guy up again just to show you guys that. All right, again, this was just a quick, I wanted to show you the replacement housing for the Monster Rotor. I did it in this nice bronze color 3D prints. All right, ciao. Really quick, I'm doing this incorrectly. I actually have a tool that will allow me to record, but I wanted to do it really quick. But here is the replacement rotor that I printed out for the replacement of the Monster Rotor that I did with the acrylic resin. And so you can see there, this is 100mm or 4 inches tall, 80mm wide. And I can actually go up here to inspect and click on that, and it will show you over here it's 80mm in diameter. Yeah, this is not the right way to record this off of here, and I'm trying to do it through the phone, but there it is. Took 6 hours to print. Ciao.